Now, in the recent past, I haven't been exactly kind to the Ford Mustang Mach-E. I essentially said that it's a nice first attempt and that it is going to get old really, really fast. Now, while I still stand by that, sometimes a little bit of performance and some color can change absolutely everything. As you just saw, this is a 2022 Ford Mustang GT Performance Edition, the only GT available for sale in Canada. I've only had it for about 4 days so far, and the amount of attention this vehicle has received surprises me, because there are many, many Mustang Mach-E's, well, I was going to say littering, but you know what I mean, all over my neighborhood, but this is essentially the only GT that I've seen so far. And this is why I'm convinced that, some nice 20-inch wheels and some cyber orange color, well, is all the Mach-E maybe really needs. Now, right now, today, it's kind of comfortably cold. It's only about 0 degrees Celsius, so 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So the Mach-E is doing really, really well. But it was very cold a couple days ago, and we are expecting a snowstorm very soon. But right now, I have to say that with one exception, the Mustang Mach-E GT, actually 2 exceptions, is damn near, oh geez, I don't want to say perfect, but it's really, really good. Like I said, performance and color, which based on that alone, I might have a suggestion or two for Ford. So in the following video, we'll do the quick walk around of my 22 Mach-E GT Performance Edition, and then we might light up some Pirelli winter tires. Okay, so as I've said in the past, I did review the regular Mach-E. I wouldn't say ad nauseum, but just about. So for this video, I want to really focus on just the GT. So in the US, base price starts at $61,995. So you get the upgraded front engine and a few other features. Now, if you want to step up to the Performance Edition, which is the model you're looking at right here in the US, it's an extra $6,000 for a grand total of $67,995. In Canada, it's a very different story. Just as a reminder, the base Mach-E Select starts at $51,495, and then when you step up to the GT Performance Edition, the only version of the GT available here, you're looking at that's right, $85,995. That's a heck of a leap in price and quite the difference compared to the US pricing. Now, what you get as standard for that price is the larger 91 kilowatt hour battery. You get the dual motor setup with the, as I think I just mentioned, the upgraded front motor for the extra power. You do get the Ford Performance seats, you get the Magnarite suspension, B&O audio, and a bunch of little interior upgrades. On the outside, you do get these 20-inch wheels, which are actually really, really cool. And these front massive Brembo brakes, which have come in handy in the last few days. Look, as I just noted, color makes a heck of a difference. And this cyber orange is probably one of the best shades you can get for the Mach-E GT. I think there's a grabber blue as well, which is another classic Mustang color. One detail that really stands out for me is the fact that the flares are body painted. I love flares as much as the next guy, but when they're painted like this, they just don't look anywhere near as cheap as they do on the regular Mach-E. Now the front bumper too is very, very different from the regular Mach-E. It's a heck of a lot more aggressive, and I do love the blacked out front end. I mean, from this angle, the Mach-E GT looks aggressive. It looks like the name Mustang belongs on this vehicle, which kind of brings me up to a suggestion I might have for Ford, and that is, look, the Select, the Premium, the California Route 1, I'm going to be mean, they look like rental vehicles. I know it's terrible, most of the color choices are pretty bland and boring, but I think Ford should offer a GT appearance package on the Premium, or even the Select. Why not? I mean, you can get a 4-cylinder Mustang, right? So why not on a regular Select? I think it would just improve the overall appearance and appeal of this vehicle for absolutely everyone. The regular Mustang Fastback or the Coupe or whatever you want to call it does have like a wheel and stripe package. I'm not saying you should put stripes on a Mach-E, but some wheels, different colors and all of that could really help it out. I'm not going to focus too hard on the, showing you the trunk and the back seat and all that. So I'm just going to point out a few things that make the GT different. Oh yeah, still this with gloves. See, this time it works, I guess because it's not that cold outside, but with gloves, the lock function right there didn't always work. This is an actual button which recesses, so that always works. And again, the handle, right, which is fun and great, but no handle back here. So again, I know I'm repeating myself, but grabbing onto here is the most logical way to access the rear seats. And I'm thinking some of this trim, well, it's very hard and reinforced. You can tell that Ford figured out that people are going to grab it there. Anyway, okay, so other things about the GT. I mean, some of the materials are so much nicer. I mean, yes, I suppose. Oh, by the way, yeah, with the Cyber Orange and the Blue Cruise and the glass roof, my tester comes in at $91,500. $91,500. We're about $5,000 less than a GT500. Yeah. So getting back to our regularly scheduled program, the materials. I mean, look, Ford still makes what I think are some below average interiors, especially when the Koreans and even many of the Japanese automakers are stepping it up. But just the material, just this suede adds so much. It adds like an extra dimension to, well, something that's really, really regular style-wise. $91,500. I mean, this is essentially standard. This too. This is just a slightly different applique. It doesn't really do anything, but the suede here that matches with the door card, it brings it together. Almost makes it believable that or acceptable that you're paying so much money for it. Other things, like a little GT stamping there on the center armrest. Thankfully, the highlight, the Ford Performance seats. I mean, Ford Performance. You're doing something well when. And the amount of support they give you, massive bolstering here. And the upper back and shoulder support is amazing. These things are unbelievably comfortable, and they do come in handy when you're pushing the Mach-E GT around. So let's just step aboard. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much standard Mach-E fare. Your little speed display and your battery display, which does some of it varies with the drive modes. There's your 15.5-inch display, which nothing really changes over the regular Mach-E. You still have your drive modes, your one-pedal mode, your propulsion sound, which is actually kind of cool, but I don't know, it was novel the first times I drove the Mach-E, and now it's just annoying. That's just me. One pedal drive makes all the difference. Whisper, engage, unbridled. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we drive away. That's it. I mean, storage is pretty good. I didn't know I wasn't going to do this. Down here too is nice. You know what? That's enough. Let's go for a drive. Selector wheel. If you've seen one of my videos, sorry, but I hate these things. It just feels so cheap, chintzy, and so there's no passion to it. There's no excitement. There's zero. And it's really at odds with what this car actually is. I might as well just talk about power right now. So when you step up to the GT, you get an upgraded front electric motor. Both are permanent magnet style. And you get a total system output in the GT of 480 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque. And when you get the Performance Edition, again, the only one available in Canada, you get an extra 34 pound-feet of torque along with the seats and all that. So what that means is that you'll be able to crush the 0 to 100 kilometer an hour sprint in 3.7 seconds. So like the 0 to 60 is 3.5 seconds. That is insanely fast. It's warming up. Good stuff. Just like quick. You know what? I'm thinking as I'm doing this video, and I mean definitely Ford was aiming for the Model Y performance when it priced this, because they're almost on par on so many levels, performance-wise, power-wise, not quite range-wise, but that's something that Tesla just has unbridled supremacy. Does that even make sense? I'm looking at the drive modes. Never mind that, but they can't beat the range, which is, by the way, for the GTPE, 418 kilometers versus the Model Y, which is just shy of 500 kilometers. So there's still a considerable difference for the exact same price, and the Model Y is just as fast from a dead start as this thing. Okay, so I guess we'll just talk about charging right now, and then eventually we'll get to more speed and performance. Charging with this thing, if you're doing it at 120 volts at home with the supplied power cord, you're going to have to be patient if you have to do a full recharge. I mean, we're talking days and days before that happens. On a level 2 240 volt charger at home, it's just under 8 hours, so it's very normal, very acceptable. But there's one thing though, which is a little bit disappointing, is that on a DC fast charger at level 3, to go from like 10 to 80% is like 45 minutes. So the onboard charger is, I guess, inadequate, insufficient to do the job. I mean, I charged this on a 50 kilowatt hour charging station just yesterday, and the max, it wasn't that cold, it was maybe minus 15 degrees Celsius, which I guess is cold. The max it would take in any one gulp is about 22 or 23 kilowatts, which means that on a full charge, it's going to get expensive. So that aspect is a little bit disappointing. So I don't know, based on only the short period of time I have this, you know, like a level 2 240 volt charger at home that you can purchase from Ford is probably your best and least expensive long run alternative. Speaking of range and charging and all that, with the 50 kilowatt hour charging station charge plus filling it up at home on 120 volt, I managed 98% full charge, and I had 341 kilometers of range. So I'm thinking the extra 2% won't give me any more than that. So we're looking at, I'm not doing the math exactly, but between 20 and 25% range loss when it's cold outside. And tomorrow we're supposed to get a lot of snow, which is why I'm doing my video today. And I'm thinking that, you know, getting all four wheels spinning a little bit is going to just kill range and battery that much more. Now, why do you get a GT? Well, it's not the one with the longest range, but it has decent range among the Mustangs, Mustang Mach-E's, I mean. Obviously, it's for the speed. Now, in Whisper, the way it's kind of set up is that it gives you probably, I don't know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 7 of the available forward thrust. And you can feel it, like it peaks as you accelerate, and then the longer you hold it, you can really feel it decelerate, or the power dropping off quickly enough. We're moving into engage, which I'll remove the one pedal drive. This is where you kind of, in my experience right now, you get like 8.5 in forward momentum, but you get very little brake regen, or engine electric brake regenerative braking. I'm fine, really. I've taken my medicine. But my favorite, I know it kind of sounds obvious, but it's unbridled, because now you get 10-10 of the acceleration, which is monstrous. It doesn't taper off as fast, but interestingly, the regen braking is a little bit more aggressive than in engage. It resembles what you get in Whisper. So, you know, if you like to put the hammer down and come off quickly, you know, like scrub off speed without braking, this is definitely your best option. And I'll admit that every stint I've done on the highway, well, unbridled goes on automatically, and this is a dangerous weapon of massive speed. I've driven a Model Y, wasn't the performance, fortunately, but the power delivery, even in unbridled, with the Model Y, I forget the exact name of the sport mode, but it feels like it holds the acceleration for a longer period of time than it does in the Mach-E. But the Model Y now is so common, and they're all white, gray, or black, which is boring. The Mach-E GT is certainly far more special, but only the GT, not the Mach-E, because the Mach-E is excessively common as well. In fact, in my neighborhood, it's almost a tie, and this is taking into consideration that the Model Y is like $75,000 or $77,000 to start in Canada. That's a lot of money. But yeah, I mean, color and the amount of attention this vehicle is getting, I still can't get over it. Young and old. It's really the color in the wheels. But yeah, suddenly the Mach-E kind of makes sense, comes into its own, and truly and absolutely deserves the logo. I mean, I think Ford has to offer a GT appearance package for the Select, the Premium, maybe not the California Route 1 edition, but for every other version. I don't know, I like it. Do I still think it's the one to buy? No, because I'd still wait a little bit longer. I wouldn't get a Model Y either. ID4 is a lot less expensive, but you're still getting, not compared to the GT, but the Mach-E or even the Model Y, not the performance. You're getting 85-90% of what the others offer for a considerably lower entry price, right? The Select at $51,000 is a rear-wheel drive version. For under $50K, you get an all-wheel drive ID4. There are a few other options, but if you can be patient, I would wait another 18 months to 2 years, and then you'll have even more choice. Anyhow, that's a lot of things said as usual. But yeah, the GTP, if you can afford it and you want to lease it for just a couple of years, you'll kind of like it.